Thank you very much. Let me begin by recognizing that protocol has been established, but to just in the event that someone misinterpreted Charles Carter's indication that he appeared before the cabinet this morning, and how surprised we were when he told us of 3 Rhodes Scholars and what the percentage in terms of the population would mean worldwide. There may be this view that we didn't know there were 3 Rhodes Scholars, but the fact is that in our first term we brought Desiree Cox home. The interesting thing about that is she's no longer in the Bahamas but lecturing abroad. Christian Campbell, the second scholar, I think, is lecturing also in Toronto. Again, another sad implication for whatever it is worth. And Myron Roll, the third Rhodes Scholar, is, I suppose, in the United States of America, pursuing what could possibly be an NFL career, but most certainly with the intention of doing research and studying medicine. The important point about that is that we must ensure that when we produce scholars of that level, that in the same way we recognized that when our golden girls or the young men won the gold medals in sports, from a percentage point of view, we were the strongest nation in the world. Equally so with our academic attainment, and we must therefore work towards lifting up the names of these scholars and ensuring that we, I think recommendations were made by the Minister of Works that we name certain roads after them, but this is a matter that has been referred to the Independence 40th Anniversary Committee, and we expect in the course of this year to take the appropriate steps towards that. Today, therefore, I'm privileged to participate in the launch of the 40th anniversary celebrations for the Bahamas. I hope we all agree that it is a momentous occasion for our country, and it is an important one. The theme for the year of celebrations is the bridge to the future, the journey continues. And someone who would know my political past might draw the inference that the bridge to the future came from me, but this was entirely of the making of Mr. Carter and those who are a part of his committee in speaking to the bridge to the future, the journey continues. But having said that, let me also announce that as a result of the co-chair, who you may not see here today, being invited along with her husband to produce theatrical performance, Sammy Swain, which I think has not been produced for as long as 35 years now. Some 35 years ago was the last time. She has indicated that she will be focusing her attention on the need to raise the necessary funding for that and to ensure that this production is successful. And she also opined in the memo to the committee that this may be the last opportunity to be able to ensure that we institutionalize the story and the performance of Sammy Swain, because the generation that knows the story is moving on, passing on. So the importance of this year and the significance of it is a very, very important one. It is forward-looking, but acknowledges that we are continuing a great work. Throughout the Bahamas and the world, Bahamians should treasure this milestone, acknowledge the journey that brought us here, and celebrate. And perhaps now more than ever before, Timothy Gibson's words that should resonate with us: pledge to excel through love and unity, pressing onward, march together to a common loftier goal. This celebration is for all Bahamians, and it calls on us not only to remember the journey that brought us here, but to work together to continue to achieve worthy goals for our country and ourselves. As a proud member of the generation that ushered in our country's independence on the July 10th, 1973, I truly feel that while we cross the bridge to the future, we must see the bridge as a connection to those of the independence generation. Truly, the significance of celebrating the 40th anniversary is that this is the last time that both generations will be able to work side by side in marking this pivotal event in our country's history. Only recently, the leader of the opposition and myself had dinner with the surviving, lunch I beg your pardon, with the surviving members of the team that went to London to negotiate and sign off on independence. And they are few in number. They were Loftus Roker, A.D. Hanna, Arthur Folks, George Smith, Philip Bethel, I think that's it, and Orville Tenquest. But those are the surviving members, so you can see the numbers are diminishing. This is the last time that we will be able to hear the voices of the independence generation. And it is for me, as a member of that generation, to implore you to listen nationally, to listen personally, to listen locally, in neighborhoods and classrooms. Seek out the independence generation. We must have them tell us their stories. It may simply be a retelling of grandmother's independence morning experience. It may be the airing of the Complete Portraits series. It may be an interview with a member of the women's suffragette movement. However we do it, it must be done. The bridge to the future also foreshadows the work that must be done. Great things, great ideas, great changes require planning, and no small amount of it. As we pause to celebrate this 40th anniversary, to recognize people and history that brought us to this point, we must, as a country, begin to build the foundation for the 50th anniversary of our independence. So the work we do today must be aimed and projected for the 50th anniversary. We need to imagine what we want the Bahamas to be then, and begin now to lay the foundations for that reality. I believe that part of what is right for our country on this independence journey is to record, preserve, and honor our history and our culture. We have been in many respects negligent of our heroes and our history. It is vital that every Bahamian of every background know their history. Every Bahamian student should be able to tell the story of majority rule and independence. We must give the proper attention to these things. Our Bahamian heroes must have prominence and permanence in the Bahamian story. We must write it well, so that even after death, they live. In a former term as Prime Minister, I appointed the National Cultural Development Commission with the mission to organize and formulate a wide range of policies and positions on cultural matters. The framework for a national honor system that was passed then and this year will be brought forward again. We will be honoring deserving Bahamians with our own Bahamian awards. This public honoring will not only draw the necessary attention to these individuals, but it will be the best way that a grateful nation can say thank you. And for that matter, all of the talk of the National Heroes Committee that would year in, year out, meet before the bust of Sir Milo and speak to the need to lift up our heroes and speak to the need of a National Heroes Park. In this year, those things will be brought to a fruition. In this year, Parliament will be moved to lift up Majority Rule Day and once and for all move it beyond debate and question and make it a national holiday. And it occurred to me to use Dame Marguerite as an example when I speak about this being this anniversary and its importance in terms of the personalities who we can listen to now. You know, we will forever remember a picture of one of the great events out here on Bay Street when the mace was thrown from the window. The picture of Dame Marguerite, Beryl Hannah, and Mrs. Whitfield standing up. Only one now survives. And so that tells you, Dame Marguerite, that our history is slowly moving on, and to those who have been such an integral part of it, this is the time now to ensure that we take all of the necessary steps to institutionalize and lift up the memories so generations of Bahamians, not only those who are alive today, but future generations would not have to ask the question, who was Dame Marguerite? What did she do? The National Independence Committee is also working with the College of the Bahamas on hosting the 40th Anniversary Independence Conference. This conference will be held June the 12th to 14th, 2013, and is open to the public. It will do much to further educate us and examine what the future of the Bahamas can be. The aim of the conference is to examine the context and construction of the Bahamian nation, investigate the challenges emerging in the post-independence period, discuss contemporary social, cultural, economic, and political issues that have emerged since 1973, and explore future prospects for nation building and development. It is one of major consequence, and we hope that every Bahamian will pay attention to it. In planning the celebrations for this anniversary, the committee felt it was critical to host events that will showcase our arts and culture. I have said before that it is important to the development of our national identity and to the deepening of our Bahamian culture that our artists have a high level of support. We often enjoy and celebrate what other nations in the world have offered us, and we forget that we have produced many cultural icons who have influenced them, who have influenced people worldwide. We just happen not to honor our prophets in the way we ought to. Already we have recognized Sidney Poitier for his contributions. In recognizing him, we helped to sensitize and educate a new generation of Bahamian youth who were unaware of his national and global significance. This year and beyond, we must also lift up the names of, as Charles said, Joseph Spence, Roxy Roker, who happens to be the mother of Lenny Kravitz, an inaugural woman, Bert Williams, who's the first Bahamian to be honored on Broadway, the first Broadway star, the first recording artist of any kind to note, but one who no Bahamian, not very many Bahamians would know. 40 years is a long time. The world has changed, and so have the Bahamas and Bahamians. Our little Nassau has grown, filled with greater numbers of people. Over the last 40 years, we have achieved a lot as a nation, but there is so much more that we must work toward. Our journey continues, and I am so proud to say that I believe we are headed in the right direction. This year, we will pause and as a united people, celebrate 40 years of being independent Bahamians. What really makes this special is that we will celebrate with those who worked feverishly to usher in this independence. We must see the gift in this. Reverend Philip Ramming, who wrote in the Pledge of Allegiance that we are one people, united in love and service. Would you stand, sir? I truly hope that this year, as we cross the bridge to the future, we cross as one people and one Bahamas. Thank you.